So I'm very excited to introduce Parnika S. She's a 7th grader at Rancho Milpitas Middle School, and I've had the pleasure of working with her over the past several weeks. I've really enjoyed this time. She's got a great attitude and has really learned a lot over the course of the mentoring. She's also been very, tenacious in overcoming some of the challenges that presented themselves and working through that in the end. Came up with a project that I think is really cool, and I'm excited to let her tell you all about it. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Parnika S. I am a current 7th grader at Rancho Milpitas Middle School. So my mentor this year is Jaelle Sherman. She lives in New Orleans, Louisiana. She is a part of the Naval Research Lab, and her job is to use machine learning to improve mapping systems. Some of her hobbies are reading and baking. Okay, so when Jaelle and I first started, we decided to work on integrating Python and facial recognition. So this was just the foundation of our project. We started exploring a Python module known as Pygame. So this was where we wanted to start with graphics and then build up to facial recognition. So as we progressed, I learned how to navigate through Python's coordinate system. And in the end, I made the image of the snowman that you can see here. So we tried to get my Max camera to work through terminal, but no luck there. So it wouldn't open and it showed some kind of an incompatible error, which is why we switched to working with the Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi is a low-cost computer that plugs into a monitor and it can be used to program. Next slide, please. So as we were hunting for projects to do with the Raspberry Pi, we stumbled upon Sight for the Blind. So this project was inspired by Hackster.io's Sight for the Blind. So this is a project that is created with the Raspberry Pi, and it is basically hooked on to a pair of glasses. So as the name suggests, the camera is pointed toward an image, and then the computer processes the information and speaks aloud what it believes the image is. So it is used for anyone who is blind or who is severely physically challenged in their vision. And this device can basically help them hear the world around them. So I chose this project for its unique and very intriguing approach to developing more complex Python-based softwares. So the structure of the code came from a TensorFlow from GitHub, from which we modified it to fit our parameters, but the foundation and some of the outlines came from there. So this is how we ended up creating our talking glasses. And our main goal was to have the camera identify and output images that it sees. Next slide, please. So some highlights of my time with Jaelle were coding with Pygame, definitely. I never knew there was a way to create a graphic interface on Python, and let alone create images coding through Python. Some of the bigger ones were also making the camera work, having the camera come alive and having the entire glasses come to life, and editing the code. I also learned how to use command line and how to connect a breadboard. Next slide, please. We encountered some very interesting challenges along the way. So our biggest one was getting OpenCV to work. OpenCV is a command that is used for image processing and computer vision. So basically, we had to import a bunch of libraries because my Pi was so new. But even then, it wouldn't work. So Jaelle found a random forum post online And they basically rescued us, excuse me, with the 7 additional libraries that were required. So thank you so much, Jaelle. Honestly, this project wouldn't be possible without her. And then after that, we had the camera index error. So this one stated that camera or classify.py wouldn't open. So we tried everything from like rebooting to adding more libraries, but it just wouldn't like fix and it wouldn't stop giving us the error. So finally we tried flipping the cable and it actually worked. So the entire time it was all just the cable. Next slide, please. So here is my demo of me working my glasses.
Parnika, you should give your live voiceover.
Is the sound not coming out?
It is, but we want to do, if you want to, I'll unmute that and play it. But that's okay. Let me do that. The idea was, it's okay. I'll do it.
Okay.
Sorry, can everyone hear her voice? Because I cannot hear.
I can't hear it either. I don't know if it was just me.
And gives the information to the computer.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, let me start again. The intent was for them to do the live voiceover, but let me start again.
Everyone, my name is Parnika S.
I hope people can hear this.
And I am a current 7th grader at Rancho Milpitas Middle School. My project is called Sight for the Blind. My mentor is Jaelle Sherman. My project is initially about talking glasses. These glasses have a camera connected to them, and the camera is connected to a small computer known as the Raspberry Pi. The camera sees objects and gives the information to the computer. The computer processes this information, and it comes up with a guess for what it believes the object could be. Then, when you press a button, the computer outputs its guess through sound. Let's take a look at the components of this project. So here are my glasses, and now I will be telling you the components inside them. So the first part is this camera with the lens, and the camera connects to the Raspberry Pi, which you can see here. And this Raspberry Pi is where all the processing happens and the images are fed into it and it recognizes them. And this Raspberry Pi is then connected to a breadboard. This breadboard is basically where all the cables come in. They power the button. The button is the small square shape. As you can see there, it's kind of hidden by the yellow wire. And when you press it, the camera or the glasses talk. And that is how your image is outputted through sound. So the most important part of these glasses are the cables that connect to it. So the 2 cables here are the HDMI, the big one, and the power cable, the small one. So the HDMI goes to the monitor, and that is mostly the important one, which is because this is where the interface happens and you can see what the camera sees. So here you can see the camera sees the mouse. So that's how that one works. And the power cable is used to power the Pi itself. And that's why those two cables are necessary. So these are my glasses, and now I will demonstrate how they work. So my first object is the computer keyboard, and I will just point my glasses at them, and I will press the button.
Computer keyboard.
And the camera recognizes it. My second object is the mouse. And here I will just press the button.
Mouse.
And it works. My third object is the monitor. And I'll press the button again.
Monitor.
And it works. My fourth object is this coffee mug. I will press the button.
Coffee mug.
My fifth object is this teddy bear. And here I will press the button.
Teddy.
And it works. This is my next object. This is a pen. So I will just zoom in with my glasses and let's find the button first. Okay, and click the button.
Ballpoint.
And it's a ballpoint. It works. So this is my next object. It is a ladle. I will just click the button.
Ladle.
And it works. So my last object is a TV remote. So here I will click the button.
Remote control.
And it works. So as you can see here, my Sight for Blind project is able to identify many objects in our everyday lives. This is very helpful for people who are severely challenged in their vision. And I really hope that I can contribute if further advancements are made in this technology, and I can help the underprivileged more. Thank you. I'd really like to thank Magic for such a wonderful opportunity. I really never thought that one day I'd be able to code something like speaking glasses. It was really such a beautiful and truly memorable experience. I'd also really like to express my sincere regards to Jaelle. She was such a wonderful mentor and an amazing teacher. I really learned so much from her. She would always support and help me with whatever we were working on and provide so many useful insights on each and every part of our classes, and never would have been able to complete this project without her. Thank you so much.
Wonderful job, Parnika. We already have some kudos and some questions here. Lots of comments about the wonderful debugging that you did to get that to work. One question that has come up so far is someone is wondering the percentage of error.
So there were actually quite a few errors when it came to the coding part. The coding was fairly simple. The outline was given to us, but when we had to modify it to like suit our needs, because originally this was meant for a different software completely, but then we had to modify it to fit Raspberry Pi and just the terminal that we were working in at that time. So the coding was fairly simple. Jaelle helped me through it very much. But as you could see there, camera was giving a lot of issues. So camera connections and hardware connections were, that was a higher percentage. So I'd say like maybe like 35%, it was like error, 35% of it. So some errors, not too many though.
Awesome. We have time for about one or two other questions. Feel free to take yourself off mute or post in the chat.
This is Ira. That was phenomenal, Parnika and Jaelle. Really phenomenal. That was great. I had a question. So did you build a database of objects? that you used, or how did you get your basic objects?
No, so we did not build a database of objects actually. So Jaelle was actually showing me this the other day, but the objects came from a predetermined database that the camera already had so that it could identify objects. We were actually looking to edit some of and maybe add our own to that database. We couldn't get to that, but as we looked through, we were able to see which objects the camera could identify and which objects it wouldn't. So even though it wasn't ours, we were able to actually see it, and that was really cool.
Great.
Wonderful. Another question we have is, can you use Google for image recognition?
I mean, you might be able to. I'm pretty sure Google might have some kind of software. I'm not completely sure on that, but it's a great something to look into later on that I would probably like to progress on with my glasses.
Yeah, so there is Google Lens, but it's phenomenal that a 7th grader has built something similar to that. There'll always be, I think the whole point of this is to really build something and learn how to.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you and great job. Our next